Okay. So when you first start with your, like you're in your VIP period and you have those 2 weeks to hit your bonuses, whether they happen, great. Like if they don't, that's fine too. Like we're all at different places with our learning, and the fact that like you're just on here wanting to learn, taking the actionable steps to hit those goals for the last 60 days of the month. Like, can you believe that we have 60 days left of the month, the year, sorry, 60 days left of the year. So what we want to talk about is going into like that very first initial step of like working your business, building your business, continuing your business, keeping that momentum going in your business, is doing those connecting points. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. And then for the last, I don't know, however long it takes us, we're going to take you on a ride tonight. We are going to go to our social media handles. If you're driving, watch this after. And if you're let's hop on our Instagram or Facebook, whichever social media handle that you feel like you work the best and that you get the most reaction out of, and one that you enjoy working on. It's different for every single person, whether it's Facebook or whether it's Instagram. It's different for every single person. There's no right or wrong. You make the rules and you get to build your business where you want to. But I will suggest building your business off of both of them, taking advantage of both of them, because you have a huge audience with your Instagram, but you also have a huge audience over here with your Facebook. Tap into both of them, both resources, absolutely amazing resources that are your people. Okay. So say we go on to our Instagram. Okay. One of the ways that we can go and start connecting with people is through watching their stories. Okay. So up at the top, so you're on your Instagram, and I mean, you can start scrolling and you can connect with people that way. But stories, that's one of my favorite ways to do it, because that is like the 24-hour window of within a person's life. Like, what are they up to today? And I try not to do this with Thrivers. Sorry, guys. I love you guys. But I try not to do it so heavily on Thrivers or our team, just because they're already Thrivers. Like, we already know, like, none of us are going to get offended because we don't like everybody's posts, or we don't like everybody's pictures. But it is good to like give your team some love. But if you don't do it every single day, it's okay, because our job is to build, connect, grow, help people, serve people. So we want to find new people. Okay, so I am going to go over here. So I have this lady that I just signed up. She's a brand inspector in Wyoming. Woo-hoo! As a customer. And I want her to join this team so bad, you guys. Like, I cannot stand it. Like, I'm so hungry for her to be a promoter. So I am on her stories heavy every day. So I'm going to go onto her stories and I'm going to click through, like, is she sharing graphics? Like is she sharing stuff about her life? So I'm going to click through, and she has like sunset pictures, but what is she saying? The calm before the wind and the snow. Okay. And then here's what she looks like. And I am going to, my thought pattern anyways, is I'm going to go onto people's stories, and I want to make a genuine actual comment on whatever it is that they're posting about. So Lacey, say that she has this cute little wild rag on. It's Wyoming and it's officially wild rag season. Like, it's cold here, and probably Montana too, and Kansas and wherever else you guys live. But it's just cold. So she can tie it in a square knot, and that's like the only way that I like to wear my scarves. So I'm going to comment in there, and I'm going to like it first. So on Instagram, you can go at the bottom and you can like it. We don't go back. Okay. And then at the bottom, where it says send message, I'm going to say something like, what do I want to say? I love this wild rag pattern. How did you learn how to tie a square knot? Okay. because this is a way for me to build that connection stronger with her, because I've already started it because she signed up as a customer. But it's that way to stay in her loop, I guess, like stay in front of her, stay in front of her eyes, however you want to put that, I guess. But it also gives me a way to like keep that communication going with her. Because I learned how to tie a square knot through watching YouTube videos. So it's a good way to just have that communication with somebody. Okay, so then I will just keep clicking through people's stories. And go back to this one. Okay, and now one girl, she posted about her dog, and it looks like he got into some cactus. That looks miserable. And usually when something like gets my reaction, like, oh, that's so pretty, like, oh my gosh, like, no way. That's when I know like that, like I'm gonna be able to leave a genuine comment on someone's post or their feed or their stories. And I always like, we always want to make sure that we're doing it in a way that is going to start a conversation. Not just going on and like doing these little emojis, like doing a little heart or a laughy face or something. Cause like anybody and their dog can do that, right? But not anybody will take the time to start a conversation with them, actually sit and take the 5 seconds to make a comment on someone's post. So I'm gonna again heart it, and then I'm going to make a little comment on there about it. Okay, so my comment on there was, oh my gosh, cactus question mark, because it looks like cactus, but I just like, I want to know, does he have to go to the vet to get it removed? Because like with porcupine quills, sometimes if they're like deep enough, like you have to go to the vet and like get it like surgically removed. Cactus, I have no idea. So again, I asked the question so that way it starts a conversation with the person, ideally if they answer. Not everybody will answer, but most people will. And then I'll just continue going through the rest of their stories and just kind of like here and there of the different stories that like, again, like I have that emotional reaction with. So the other thing with building connections and having those connection points on here with people is that people know when you have an alternative motive. People can tell when you have like a secret agenda or a hidden agenda. So if we go onto somebody's posts and I don't like we just say something, I don't know, like it's hard for me to like even just give an example, but we give them something like, hey man, like do you want to try some Thrive? Or oh, it's like I see you're working on like your health and fitness goals. Like, have you ever worked on like tried Thrive before? Or have you ever heard of Lavelle? This is what we call cold messaging. Don't do it. I know you think like you're trying to connect with somebody and maybe like you really do have like the best interest at heart to like help this person, but this is an act of cold messaging. Don't do it. Well, people can see right through it. It's no longer like fake it till you make it. Like it's our job to build that relationship with the person, build the rapport, build that connection, and most importantly, building that trust with them. So that way, if they come to you with questions in the future, if they become like a customer, they know that they're going to get that genuine help. Like you're not just going to be like, oh, sorry, like you're out of luck. Sorry, you can't return that. And they kind of have a sense of like your personality, if you're charismatic, if you're funny, maybe you're sassy, maybe you're serious, maybe you're super professional, however it is, like just be yourself with going on here and commenting and loving on people's stuff. Okay. So before we do some more work, another thing with like connecting, oh, that's what I was going to say. Another thing with connecting is that just because we go on and we have like a few connection points with them, we go on and we, like some of their posts and we have like maybe one, maybe two like good conversations with them. that it won't immediately turn into a sale. We don't want to go into the conversations knowing that we're going to get a sale out of it. Like, it could take a week, it could take a month, it could take 6 months, it could take a year for people to follow up with you and like actually start to join. The brand inspector that I just got signed up as a customer, I had been talking to her for probably like 3 months. And then I accidentally sent the wrong message to her with sending samples to, so like I meant to like drop like a boom sample in our team chat, but I accidentally sent it to her. So that way she knew that like I was offering samples. A week later, she voted on one of my polls about having samples. I sent her samples. It was probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks after that, then she signed up as a customer. So the time span of when the conversation starts with somebody, when the trust starts to build, the rapport, to the time of like a sale is so subjective. Like, you cannot put a timeline on it, like cannot put a timeline on it. And if you go into it, like having that in mind, like, hey, I'm going to start talking to you, like, because I know I'm going to get you as a customer, like, dudes see right through that. So like, just don't, like, you're going to lose them so fast. So go into your connections tonight when we like hop on and like do this together. That you're making genuine connections, making genuine comments, starting conversations with these people that like you do have at least one thing in common with. Not everybody that we like reach out, like we'll have it like everything in common with them, but as long as you have at least one, like at least three, okay, so like 1 to 3 things that you have in common with them. That way it gives you more topics of conversation to have with them in the future, on their stories, on their posts, whatever. Because ideally we want to work with them someday. That's that, you know, like we want to work with them because we think they'd be cool to work with and we want to be friends with them. Okay. The other way that we can go on and we can do some connecting points on here. This one, to me, if you don't have the discipline that goes behind this and you don't have like that's it still is discipline, but if you don't have that like time construction of like how long, like this time set aside of like how long you're going to do this for, like you can get caught up in it really fast and you start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until you're becoming the consumer, not the connector. So you can do it, you know, if you're just like in that mood to like zone out, but try really hard to have that discipline of going onto your social media with business in mind, not the consuming, not being a consumer. You're going on there to work your business, to connect with people, to build conversations, and hopefully build your business each month when the time comes and when the time is right. Okay. So if you go on here to like start consuming, that usually causes burnout if you start doing that. So be very diligent and very disciplined with it. So when you go on here and if you're scrolling to try and find people to connect with, I get a lot of other, I don't like companies or ads or things that pop up or like quotes from other pages. So it's not necessarily like my most favorite way to do that, but some people can, but I mostly just get a lot of like outside stuff. So another way that you can go on and do like discovery of like people that the algorithm that Instagram will feel like you have things in common with, that will like, it'll try to like send you to their page. You can go onto the search bar. So if you're just on your home page, so this is like your home, this is your like your feed, there's a little magnifying glass down here in the bottom. Click on that and then it will start pulling up all of these different people, reels, posts, anything like that that you might have in common with. So you can go on there and, excuse me, you can see, you know, is there a post on here that like you generally like? Like, is there a reel on here that you really like? Another way that you can go on here and connect is again going on to the magnifying glass, and then up at the top you can search. they're saying that hashtags are like not a thing anymore, and that like Instagram is going to start moving away from them. I think we can still use them. So I'm gonna type in hashtag ranch wife on there because that's what I am. That's who I am. So it'll pull up a bunch of different like hashtag ranch wife. So say you're like stay-at-home mom. So SAHM. You could type that in. You're a dental hygienist, Brooke. If you are like a naturopath, if you like herbs or anything like that for Reese, like anything, or if you have your own cows or whatever, like the things that make you, like just type in as a hashtag and a bunch of stuff will pull up. So let's just click on the first one. I'm going to click on hashtag ranch wife, and I'm not following this hashtag. I thought I was, but I'm not, and that's okay. So you can follow it. So that way anyone that ever uses that hashtag of ranch wife will pull up onto your feed later. So I'm going to start scrolling through here, and it will just give you like a grid of different people who have used that hashtag before. So what I'm going to try and find on here while I'm looking, there will be like clothes and stuff that pops up. Like, I don't want clothes and stuff. Like, I'm not a fashionista, and that's not going to help me build my business, even though they're cute and they're pretty to look at. Okay. Allison Weems, I think that's how you say your name. She pulls up. Okay. She would be like amazing at this business, but she's like practically sponsored by Murdoch's right now. So I know, like, ideally, like realistically, like she's not going to help me build my business because she's her own kind of network marketer. I know, I love her stuff. She's amazing. I love following her. But ideally and like realistically, like she's not going to be a potential of mine. So I'm not going to waste my time, right? And we all have those other people on our feed that like we love following them, but we have to think realistically. Okay. So now I see this gal. She is from Kansas. Okay. She took a cute little picture with her pitchfork. So I'm guessing that she has cows. She has horses. She has some kind of livestock. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read her post. I'm going to comment on it. Genuinely see if I can make a comment on it. She has 5 likes. So she doesn't have a ton of followers. Oh, she does. She has like 5,000 followers. Okay. When did she post this last? 2 hours ago. So it's a brand new post. Perfect. That's even better. So I'm going to go onto this homegirl's page. I'm going to go check out how many followers she has. Not that that matters. Not that that always makes a difference. But if someone has like 50,000 followers, like realistically, are they going to like pay attention to me and my business? Like, maybe not. You just make that discretion like as you go onto their page. So ideally, if I start looking at her page, you start looking at their bio. What do they have in their bio? What on her bio of Brenna? I don't know if any of you guys know her. I don't know her, but I'm going to go on here and I'm going to start seeing what she's about. She's married to her best friend. Sweet. Same. I am too. Okay. I have one thing in common with her. She's city born, now living for the ranch life. I'm not city born, but I love the ranch life. So we have 2 things in common. I've never really been to Kansas. So I can't really say that. So I'm going to start looking at her feed and see what pops up on there. I see her running the Driven Games. So she's an athlete too of some kind. So I'm going to like the post and I'm going to ask, what are the Driven Games? Because I've never heard of that. Hey, you're so welcome. Yeah. So I'm going to go on here and I'm going to say, what are the Driven Games? Because she has a little picture of her running. And I'm like, okay, I can dig that. So I have 3 things in common with her that I can start a conversation with her about potentially. Okay. Next thing that I'm going to go do, I try really hard to stay away from like the clam method or like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or the 5, 3, 1, whatever it's called. Okay. This is just my opinion. I feel like people see through that now. I feel like people know, like you go on there with a purpose, like, oh, they're liking a lot of my posts. Like they're spamming my posts. Like they're like dropping into my notifications. Like, what do they want with me? Because I do that when other people do that with me. So like, I know they're coming to me with a purpose. So I don't follow them immediately. I'm going to comment genuinely on at least one maybe 2 of her posts, and then I'm gonna go into her stories and I'm gonna see what she's all about. So she talks in her stories. That's exciting. Promoter potential. When people talk in their stories, like if they can do that on their own, like they can do it working a business and making money from it. Like, hell yeah. So I'm gonna like that. There's her little picture of her cat playing with a snake. That is disgusting. Okay. I'm not a cat person, but this is really great to watch. So I'm gonna like it. And it's great because I get to learn more about her. Okay, and I'm watching her story and she's saying that she's a crazy cat lady. But she wears a Garmin watch. So I still have things in common with her. So I'm still going to just leave it at that. Since I didn't really comment on anything in her stories, I'm gonna go ahead and follow her. And I commented on just that like first new post that she had, and then that other one where she's running. So it's just enough to be like, hey, like I see you, but it's not like, what does she want with me? Okay. Okay. So there are the ways on which when we could go to her Facebook real quick. Let's go to her Facebook. Okay. So Facebook is the same. If you pull up your FaceCool, you can go into your stories, do the same thing. Thrivers will not get offended if you're not liking, sharing, loving on all of their stuff all the time. We just know that in our community. Like we love on each other already, but like our job when we come onto our social media is business. Okay. So I'm gonna scroll over until I see a non-thriver. I love you guys, but I'm trying to find some non-thrivers. So I have to scroll for a minute because there's a minute on here. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to another person, and I'm just gonna go through the same thing that I did on Instagram, and just start going through the whole process again, commenting on her social media. What are the things that I have in common with her on, and then going on to her feed on Facebook, and then commenting genuinely on whatever post that I do have something in common with her on. And then if it's liking some of her stories, anything like that. But Facebook is a little different where like you should be friends with them. I've heard from other people, Facebook's not my favorite, but I've heard from other thrivers, like our mentors and side sisters, that go on to people's, like the for you or like suggested for you with a grain of salt. Like go, if their page isn't private, you can go on to, their page in their home screen and see, again, like, do you have those 3 things in common with them? Do you have something that you can connect with them on? If so, friend them, see where it goes, start doing all the connection points with them, but not being like obnoxious with it. And if you can't find those 3 things that you have in common with them, you may or may not find it with them. So that's just my rule of thumb. If I can't find those 3 things in common with them, it might be a little more challenging for me to have a conversation with them about life, business, work, kids, whatever, like ranch life, whatever it is. I probably won't friend them or friend them back. Just because to me, like that it's not genuine and it's not authentic. So I don't know. That's just me. So that is what I had to teach tonight, is just the connecting points. That is how we keep that momentum going. When people don't come to you organically, we have to do these tasks every single day. Now, does this have to take a whole hour? No. Will it take 30 minutes? No, not necessarily, but at least do like 5 new people every day. And regularly going on to the people that you're already following, people that you're friends with that are non-thrivers, and liking on their stuff, loving on their posts, commenting on their stories, being a part of their life. Another way of finding these people is going into who is viewing your stories, who is watching your stories, who's commenting on your posts, and going onto their pages, going into their stories and returning the love back to them. They've supported you. We go back and support them on their pages. Simple as that. It could take there's no rules in this business. Like you can spend however long you want on it, but to prevent burnout, like for me especially, I just spend like no more than 30 minutes on it a day, and that's it. That's all it has to be every day. If you don't do it like every day, like at least every other day, because this is a very important part of our business that I don't feel like gets touched on enough. So anyways, if you guys have questions, I'll look in the chat if we have any. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Otherwise, I can just put on some music. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat and we can spend like 10 minutes on this and then call it a night. What do you guys think? Okay. Sick. Otherwise, you guys can hop off too. Totally up to you. I'm gonna stop recording now.